Okay guys, so today I want to talk to you about something. The title, you already know what this is, but I kind of don't like doctors. And there are many reasons why. There are theories that some doctors know is true and some that aren't. And with personal experience, I'm just not a doctor person. And you'll probably be like, well, I don't like going to the doctor either. No, like literally I don't trust doctors. I am just, no. But, let's talk about the conspiracy part first, shall we? Okay, so there are many things, or many people that say that doctors truly do not heal you. And to be honest, I kind of believe it. Like, you could go to the doctor and they'd give you medicine and then you'd have to return in like 2-3 weeks if it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And some people believe that that is just a way for them to make money. So that's a thing that people don't like. Doctors don't make you feel better. They make you kind of worse so you can continue going and seeing them and making money. And then there's some doctors, no, I'm not saying all doctors are like this, but there are some doctors, no, that's bothering me, that do actually care. I have like a few friends that are wanting to go to the doctor's industry. And I know they are good people. I know that they wouldn't want to kill someone. So not all doctors are bad. This is not what I'm saying. But that's just what people say. I kind of believe it. Now we're going to go to why I personally dislike doctors. And I'll go from the order that it happened in. And there's 3 reasons why. One of them's my aunt, one of them's my mom, and one of them is me. So it was it was either September or November, but my mom started getting really bad headaches, and she's had really bad headaches for her entire life, but the doctor kept just giving her headache medicine and all this. Well, one day she went and she couldn't go to the bathroom. She had really bad headaches. She had so many symptoms of not feeling well, and the doctor gave her medicine, didn't work. He tried to have her do a pee test, but she couldn't go pee, and so he gave her a bottle and said, when you can go pee, and then bring this back. Well, she couldn't go pee, and I remember one day when we were driving, it was my grandma driving, my mom in the passenger, and I was in the back, and my mom literally completely lost her bowels in the car. And of course my grandma kind of got irritated because we didn't know what was going on at the time. And so we just scrubbed the seat, and well, one morning my mom was in I guess so much pain that we took her to the hospital. And everyone who showed up at the hospital was my grandma, of course my mom, me, my uncle and my aunt, and my 3 cousins, Destiny, Michael, and Tyler. And yeah, I remember this very vivid. But it was a school day, and I was just getting ready for school. And so we went to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what's going on. And so my cousins went to school, and my grandma's my uncle's like, do you want me to take her to school? And my grandma's like, she's not going to school today. We all know that it's not gonna happen. So as a little kid, I was super enjoyed about not going to school. But if I knew then what I know now, I would be freaking trying my hardest to figure out what the hell's going on. But as a little kid, I didn't know. Well, that day I went home, and they called my grandma, and was like, hey, we gotta take her to a hospital. I'm not gonna say the hospital's name, but take her there. And my grandma was like, fine, do whatever. Just do it. And so they did. And they did a whole bunch of tests. They did like CAT scans and everything. And they found out that my mom had a brain tumor. And for who you don't know, a brain tumor is literally a tumor that's in your head. And when they found out, this was like maybe a couple weeks after staying in this hospital, they found it, and they told us, and they said that it was the biggest tumor they have seen. And well, they said that it was probably growing for about 12 to 13 years, and at that time I was around that age. So literally for years and years I blamed myself for my mom having a tumor, because I was like, it's because of me that she did it. And for people who don't know, I should have said this earlier, but my mom was handicapped, and she was not I don't know how to really explain it without disgracing her, but she couldn't learn. Her learning base was literally at a 3rd grade level. But when she was alive, she did go back to school and try to fix that. So, but yeah. So they saw the tumor, and they're like, we can get it out, and it, take a while. Like, they had to do the procedure and everything. Well, when they did the procedure, like, and these doctors, I could tell that really kind of, it's not their fault, but it's not, I'll explain later. But anyway, yes, it is, they did the surgery, but they had to find something that would replace the giant gap where the tumor left. And I saw an x-ray, and this tumor was like about this big. Like, literally, it fit like right here. And, so they did a surgery, but they had to replace it, so they did a stomach fat, because my mom was a little chubby. And, yeah, so they did that, and she was, like, we had to wear these special suits to go see her and everything, so we didn't get contaminated and everything. But she was out of it for a good couple, like, weeks, and one day she woke up after it, and trust me, I was in the 5th grade, I will tell you this, and I missed so much school. But which you would probably be like, yeah, you missed school. No, I was going through a tough time, and like a couple weeks into it, I knew that I wanted to be there for my mom. I didn't want to leave her side, and I missed so many field trips that I wish I could have gone to, but that's not the point. For all that, like, she finally woke up, and we got her, like, coloring books, and this was around Christmas time, guys, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and, like, we stayed down there. I remember going to Bass Pro Shop, and I got this, I wish I had it with me, but it's packed away, but I had this awesome beer mug that said my name on it, that my uncle and my aunt got me for that Christmas, and I thought it was the best thing ever. I loved it. But with that, they didn't make Christmas bad. Like, they tried their hardest to make it good, and that's what I care. That's like what I love about them. They tried their hardest to do all this stuff just so me and my grandma could really just, like, kind of relax for a little bit. Well, it was in January, like, Christmas has passed. We got her this awesome blanket. I think I can show you if I have it, which it's, there it is. We bought her this, which it's a blanket that turned into literally like a snuggie jacket thing. It's awesome, and I use it all the time. But after Christmas, it was January, and things were going great. I mean, I started finally talking to my mom. She was exercising. She was getting back on track. Well, at the ending of January, in the beginning of February, my mom took a toll for the worst. I just got back from visiting her at the hospital, and I was excited to go to school the next day. I missed my friends after I stay. Like, I would normally leave about like on a Friday, and show up on like go back on like come back Sunday night. I would stay like weekends there all the time. Well, we got home. My things were ready for school the next day. I was super excited. Then my grandma gets a phone call, and the doctors asked if, because my aunt was heading up there. My family members took turns watching over, like, who got to go up there, who got to see her. But we got that phone call, and my grandma was like, yeah, use the defibrillator, try to bring her back to life. And that didn't work. And I hear my grandma saying, yes, we have a funeral home. And it hit me. I no longer had a mom. And it killed me. I sat there for my grandma was on the phone talking to the doctors, and that entire time I just sat there in silence. I couldn't do anything. And then she hung up the phone. We sat for a good minute in silence. And I remember I was at a young age at this time. Then my grandma picks up the phone and dials my uncle. And she's like, I'm going to need help taking care of Nina tonight. And they talked. One thing I remember, and this is, like, you're going to be like, oh, it's not true. This is the one thing I remember most. On TV, my grandma loved listening to country music. She loves it to death. That night, they played almost every sad country song ever. Well, anyway, my uncle and them showed up. I sat there on the couch. I was in shock. I don't even remember. I think I might have cried, but I don't 100% remember. But eventually I went to bed, and I didn't go to school for a good 2 weeks. And eventually the school called and was like, hey, she needs to come to school. And my grandma was like, well, you can kind of go fuck off. She just lost her mom. And that's it. Now, the doctors who actually, performed the surgery and everything, I don't care about. That was a long story to explain this one thing, but, they did their best. But it's my family doctor I kind of don't really trust, because she was giving signs of something was seriously wrong, and he did nothing. So that's the number one personal reason. The second one is my aunt literally, she fractured her wrist or arm, and she didn't know it. Well, she thought she did, but she didn't go to the doctor for the longest time. Well, it was I think a week before Thanksgiving, and she finally went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, hey, you have a fractured arm. And so that was a fractured arm. Okay. Well, she cooked. Well, it was actually after Thanksgiving, I believe. And that was the year that she made everything from scratch, and it was awesome. Well, about 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, my aunt went to the hospital, and they were doing I think it was a CAT scan. I'm not 100% sure. They were doing some kind of test, and they were for some reason scanning her head, because they actually found out that there was more wrong with her than just a fractured arm. They found out that her she had really something going on. I can't, stomach thing. So they were doing a whole scan of her body, and the machine put too much pressure on her brain and kind of made her brain start bleeding, and then they got it to stop. She was fine. They did it again. The same thing happened. This time was not so lucky. My aunt, after the second time, became a vegetable. And that put another thing on my grandma, that, what are we going to do? And my grandma was like, just pull the plugs. Because my grandma did not want my aunt to live like that. And frankly, I wouldn't want to live like that either. but I've heard my uncle and my aunts tell me that you could tell in their eyes that it was her time to go. So we did that, and that's why you don't trust doctors for a second reason, because they make one mistake and then they do it again. Okay, now here's my third, and it's about me. Okay, so if you don't know, last year, January 27th, I believe it was, I had surgery done. And for about 3 to 4 months, my knee was fine. But then, out of nowhere, like, I think, it might have just, like, I did my exercises and everything, and I think it might have just actually popped back out of place. But my knee started killing me really bad, and it hasn't stopped since. And everyone's like, you need to go to the doctor, you need to figure out what it was. I'm like, 1, I don't have the money for it. And 2, no. Yeah, because if I go back, they're gonna redo this shit, and I'm like, I don't feel like spending another 4 to 6 months going to doctor visits saying, hey, there's nothing wrong, when there's fucking something clearly wrong, because I'm in godforsaken pain. But I am now debating whether or not to go to the doctor or just to live with the pain, but it's getting too close to where I'm probably going to have to go to the doctor because it's taking a toll on me walking. So, that's some reasons why I don't trust the doctors. This little girl just woke up, so she woke up in a good timing. But that's some reasons why I don't really trust doctors. So leave me in the comments if you want to see another thing that I don't trust, and tell me what you don't trust, because I know a lot of people don't trust dentists either. So if you guys like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I make videos every single day. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.